Have you ever woken in the mornings craving a delicate, flaky croissant or a crusty, springy piece of toast, but were just too damn lazy to bake it yourself? Well, today, I've got the perfect solution for you in my best bakeries of the Bay Area list. Being a foodie town, San Francisco has some kick-ass bakeries. But what sets San Francisco apart from any other foodie town is its really long relationship with sourdough. Now, don't go all freaking out on me. I'm not talking about your typical bread bowl sourdoughs. I'm talking about the very high quality, handmade, artisanal baked products that are made with wild yeast. Together with a very labor-intensive baking and fermentation process, it produces some of the best breads and pastries with a rich, complex flavor and a crumb to die for. Don't believe me? Let's go find out.
My South Bay pick is Manresa Bread, and we're here at their Los Altos storefront. This bakery is an offshoot of the famous 3 Michelin star Manresa restaurant down in Los Gatos. Customers really raved about their breads and wanted a way to purchase them without having to do a lavish 5-course production along with it. Helmed by their master baker Avery Ruzicka, the first starter was at a farmer's market in Campbell, which then later expanded to the California Ave Farmers Market in Palo Alto, then later to the Portola Valley Farmers Market.
The first storefront was in Los Gatos, then Los Altos in 2016, and a brisk online business shipping nationwide last year. This year, they are slated to open a third brick-and-mortar location in Campbell.
One of the items to get here is the Quin Amand. This is a classic French pastry that originated in Brittany, France around 1860. Olden day recipes used a bread dough, but nowadays most bakeries use a laminated croissant dough with butter and sugar layered in. As the pastry bakes, sugar caramelizes inside. Oh my gosh, that is so light and buttery and flaky. It's delicious, and the sugar is beautiful. Definitely got that caramelized taste on your tongue. The outer layer here is nice and dense, and even though this is made with a croissant dough, it actually has more of a texture of bread to it. Their signature bread is the levain, and it's a traditional French bread that is made with a sourdough or a wild yeast starter with a little bit of pumpernickel meal thrown in there for taste. The flour is a mix of organic whole white flour and an in-house Blanco Grande whole wheat flour. The breads here all contain an in-house whole wheat. They start with a grain and stone grind it right here on site, and the resulting flour allows them to achieve more active fermentation and also a 100% or greater hydration of the dough. This gives them a more pillowy bread, also known as crumb in the bread industry. Wow, that bread is nicely dense and springy, and it's got a slight tang from the sourdough. The crust is nice and chewy without being hard. Very pleasant and super moist, perfect for sandwich bread, or nice to have with a really hard cheese like a sharp cheddar. Okay, for our next couple of bakeries, we're gonna head north. It's sacrilegious to create a best bakeries list without including Tartine. It was started by Elizabeth Pruitt and Chad Robertson in 2002 in the Mission District after first proofing the concept at various farmers markets around the Bay Area. Pruitt helms the pastries and Robertson is the bread guy. It took them over 15 years to become an international powerhouse bakery with a James Beard Award in 2008 to top it all off. Recently, Tartine has been on fire with big plans to expand its food vision. In 2016, they opened the Manufactory and restaurant producing baked goods, ice cream, and coffee. This year, they've expanded storefronts to LA and Seoul, Korea, with many, many more in the works. And for all the gluten-intolerant baked goods fans out there, Pruitt herself is a celiac, so there are plenty of gluten-free options.
What isn't good here? Start with their signature morning bun. It's a French laminated croissant dough that is shaped into an American-style roll and topped with a coating of clarified butter and dusted with a mixture of sugar, orange zest, and cinnamon. They sell out as soon as these puppies come out of the oven. Then there are the heavenly flaky croissants, the decadent pain au chocolat made with Valrhona chocolate, the delicate frangipane croissant soaked in brandy syrup and filled with an almond pastry cream, and the sharp, savory pain au jambon and gruyere. For afternoon tea, try the traditional banana cream tart with a bit of a twist.
That is perfect pastry. The crust is an actual traditional pie crust and not a tart crust. To protect the crunchiness of the crust, the bottom of the shell is coated with a layer of Valrhona chocolate, which is the only thing with a really strong sugary taste to it, and it provides just perfect bittersweet punch. And then another layer of caramel on top of that. The richness of the pastry cream comes 100% from the quality of the cream itself and not from any added sugars or other ingredients. And there are these massively large chunks of banana in it as well. It's the butteriness of that cream with the sweetness of the caramel and the freshness of the banana. Like all of Tartine's breads, the baguette is made with a sourdough starter and is a very wet dough. That's so delicious. The bread is nice and moist while still being springy. I love the crust, which is very thin and flexible. You get a nice crust without it being too hard. A quick inside tip, at the bakery, the breads come out every day at 4:30 just in time for dinner. Although down the street at the Manufactory where I'm at right now, they do make breads all day, but you should call in advance and figure out when they're actually going to have stuff in stock. But the current trend in artisanal bakery is to revert every step of the craft to as close to hand-hewn methods as possible. Craftsman and Wolves, or CAW for short, is a contemporary patisserie that takes experimental gastronomy to the next level, inventing new techniques and flavors. Chef owner William Werner, who was nominated for a James Beard Award, is a bit of a motorcycle riding rebel himself. And so the food, as well as the space, definitely reflects that avant-garde sensibility. This is the original storefront in the Mission, and along with the usual breakfast items, it also uniquely carries cakes.
This is the pastry that put CAW on the map, the Rebel Within.
As soon as they bring it out, the smell is amazing. It's like a very wonderful, cheesy biscuit.
It's a runny, soft-boiled egg perfectly baked into an Asiago sausage and green onion muffin.
Definitely add a little pinch of salt, which gives it a nice burst of salty flavor at the first bite. The taste is amazing. It's somewhat of a mix between a muffin and a biscuit. It's a little bit more solid than a biscuit, but it definitely has the taste and the texture of one. And that egg is the perfect complement. The runny yolk, which is nice and warm and rich, is the perfect complement to the crumb on the muffin. Heirloom carrot. Ooh, that's pickled, nicely sour and tangy. Loved it. Definitely worth getting for a breakfast item. And if spicy's your thing, on Thursdays, grab the kimchi version, the Kimchi Rebel. This second location in Bayview, called The Den, is where all the behind-the-scenes production magic happens. Their bakery facilities have always been located down here, but now there's a storefront to go with it. Whereas the Mission location uniquely has cakes, this one uniquely has pizza pies. What I love most about this location is that even though CAW is part of the gentrification that is happening in this neighborhood, they try to be a force for integration and have a pay it forward program. You pay your $3, get a sticky note pasted to the outside of the bakery window, and someone in need can come, grab the Post-it note, bring it to the front, and redeem it for a complimentary slice of pie. We end our list with the granddaddy of them all, Arizmendi Bakery, which was formed in 1997 and named after a Basque labor organizer. This was a really hard pick as there are so many great bakeries out here in the East Bay, but Arizmendi topped everyone's best of list. It's a co-op currently with about 20 worker owners running about 6 locations, mostly here in the East Bay, including this original location in Oakland, as well as in Berkeley, Emeryville, and San Rafael, and 2 locations in San Francisco, including the Mission District and in Inner Sunset. The focus is really on breads, with the menu rotating on a daily basis, so you never know what you're going to get from day to day. People rave about Arizmendi's pizza, which they begin serving at about 11 a.m. each day. They only serve one type, and it's always vegetarian. Today's pizza is a zucchini, roasted garlic, and parsley topped with feta and mozzarella. The best way to describe this pie is crispy. The bottom of the crust is baked nice and crispy, and the top of the fillings are also baked nice and crispy. The organic crust is made from a sourdough starter, and it's rolled out nice and thin. This is a lighter sourdough, so there's not that tang, and it makes for a wonderful palate for the fillings and the cheese on top. You can purchase it by the slice or a whole entire pie. If you want to take it to go, you can opt for the light bake pie and finish the baking at home, or purchase a ball of dough and do the hand stretching and custom design yourself. Good to the last bite. Every day they have a yummy variety of baked goods. Can't recommend any one to you because it changes daily, but definitely get some cookies. Actually, it broke apart and I had to reassemble it for the food form shot. The cookie is incredibly soft and moist. In it, there's some walnuts, some raisins, some cinnamon, and some nice big chunks of chocolate. There's this really nice earthy bran and molasses taste to it that's punctuated here and there with this sweet chocolate or the juicy raisins or the crunchy walnuts. A sweet ending to a sweet meal. I had a really awesome morning sampling some of the most indulgent baked goods around here in the Bay Area. Hope that inspired you to get out there and try something new for brunch today. Thanks for joining me today on this epic adventure, and until the next time, peace.